In this video, I'll talk about like dissolve like principle. Subscribe to the channel and watch the video until the end. Like dissolve like principle. Sodium chloride dissolve in water. Why sodium chloride dissolve in water? I'll tell you the answer. But sodium chloride is insoluble in oil. Why it is insoluble in oil? I'll answer this question. Like dissolve like principle states that molecules with similar intermolecular forces dissolve each other, or all molecules with similar intermolecular force dissolve each other. Finally, they make a solution. Like dissolve like means polar substances dissolve in a polar solvent, but nonpolar substances dissolve in nonpolar solvent. A polar molecule has uneven distribution of charge between atoms. Again, there are unequal sharing of bonding electrons in polar molecule. Atoms in a polar molecule have high electronegativity difference between the bonding atoms. For example, let us consider hydrogen chloride. In hydrogen chloride, hydrogen contribute one electron, chlorine contribute one electron, and finally they make shared electrons. These shared electrons also form a single bond, and this single bond we call it bonding electron. In HCl, hydrogen carries partially negative charge. Sorry, chlorine carries partially negative charge, but hydrogen carries partial positive charge because the bonding electrons shift around the nucleus of chlorine. Since chlorine is more electronegative element than hydrogen, therefore it attracts the bonding electron toward its nucleus. Because of this, chlorine carries partially negative, but hydrogen carry partial positive. Therefore, HCl is a polar molecule. A non-polar molecules has an even distribution of charge between bonding atoms. There are equal sharing of bonding electrons. Atoms in a polar molecule have similar electronegativity value. Now, for example, let us take chlorine molecule. As we know, each chlorine molecule has the same electronegativity value. Therefore, the bonding electrons exist between the nucleus of each. So chlorine's molecule is a nonpolar molecule. Now, sodium chloride dissolves in water because both sodium chloride and water are polar. Therefore, they dissolve each other. But sodium chloride is insoluble in oil because sodium chloride is polar. Whereas oil is nonpolar. That's why sodium chloride is insoluble in oil. And compounds such as sodium chloride, potassium sulfide, sodium nitrate are nonpolar compounds. Strong oxyacid and strong binary acids are polar molecules. For example, sulfuric acid and nitric acid are nitric acid, perchloric acid are strong oxyacids, and they're polar molecules. Hydrochloric acid, hydroiodic acid, hydrobromic acid is a strong binary acid, and they are polar molecule. Derivative derivative of hydrocarbons, alcohol, and aldehyde are polar molecules. Therefore, these all are soluble in polar solvent. But diatomic molecules and hydrocarbons are non-polar molecules, such as hydrogen molecule, nitrogen molecule, oxygen molecule, fluorine molecule, chlorine molecule, bromine molecule, and iodine molecule are non-polar molecules. Methane, ethane, propane, etc. hydrocarbons totally. Benzene and carbon tetrachloride. All these are non-polar molecule. Therefore, they are soluble in non-polar solvent.